Hi, friend. So, something that has been very prevalent this weekend that I thought I would talk about is around communication and communication through stating my needs and also communicating through conflict. Like, those two things were not something that I learned growing up. They were not mirrored for me in my home, not in a way that I could learn like positive skills that I can use in life. I really truly didn't learn how to do both, to communicate how do I really feel about something and how to communicate through conflict. And I think what's challenging that I see, oh God, I'm seeing in myself so much and I'm seeing in others too, is that learning and growing up people pleasing and learning how to put other people's feelings above mine, to put other people's needs before mine, has really challenged the way that I have learned to communicate. It can often feel really uncomfortable to even say, I don't agree with you, or I feel something different to what you're saying. Even that, I'm so in my head about that because I'm trying to decipher if how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking is correct. I didn't learn to trust my feelings, to trust my thoughts, to trust that what I am thinking is okay and all right. So in those moments when I'm in a conversation with someone who, and it can be, just a friendly conversation talking about something, but I feel something different, or it can go all the way to being in a situation of conflict. In most of those situations, I am all in my head because I am trying to figure out, as a people pleaser, how are you feeling, so that if you're feeling a certain way, how do I then mirror that so that I can be appeasing, that I can be likable, that I can then feel lovable and safe. So that's what I want to talk about, because I have been working with a consciousness coach, with Russo, who is amazing, for a few years now, to help me, first of all, learn to trust, not even trust, to know what my thoughts and feelings are. I know that sounds really crazy, and I can know them, but they get pushed back to the back of my head so much. To know them and then to trust them. And then the next stage is to actually communicate those. And most of the times when I'm in those moments, I'm so in my head because I'm trying to decipher the outside world instead of being inside of myself to understand, what is it that I think? What is it that I feel? So after working with this consciousness coach for the last few years, I have found ways that help me get into my body so that I can actually know and trust what I'm feeling. So I want to share a few of those because they've worked for me. You'll probably find that there's things for you, but this has been sometimes like so subtle and sometimes so big that I wanted to share them with you. I was actually dreaming about this stuff so much last night that I actually didn't sleep very well. So I look very tired, but that's because I was really processing this in my sleep. Okay, so to the ways that I have found that have worked for me, that has taken me a few years of working with this coach to figure out, these are the things that I need in those moments. So let me share them with you. So first one is, when I am in my head, I am literally out of my body. So the first one that I found through trial and error that worked for me to get me in my body, and I can't do it with both hands right now, but is to basically put my arms around myself and squeeze my arms from the top down. And I have found that doing that, it's this subtlety of reminding myself I'm not in my head, or not even reminding myself, it's actually pulling myself out of my head into my body. And it's also self-soothing, because in those moments when I'm worrying, my nervous system is really activated. And so to be able to self-soothe, to slow myself down, it's that human touch on my skin. So reminding myself I am here. And then there's a self-soothing part of it by squeezing up and down my arms. And I'm basically doing a mini hug, I'm hugging myself. And what I have found is I've used that even in meetings. So when I'm on Zoom with somebody, I'll just make sure that the camera sits above me. I might push my push my computer up a little bit so that they can't see my whole body, and I'll just squeeze myself, even if it's like just above my shoulder, all the way down my arms. So I've found that that has been really helpful. The other few for me has been to physically drop my shoulders. Like, I actually imagine sometimes that there are little sandbags that are sitting on my shoulders that just like, and I actually can see that's paired with that is the deep breath out. For me, it's like dropping my shoulders and then 3 deep breaths out, and really slow if I need to. Well, typically I want to. So it's like being in that moment of the 3 deep breaths. So right now I have squeezing my arms, like that self-soothe, squeezing my arms, dropping my shoulders, 3 deep breaths out. And something that I didn't think would be so helpful is making sure that both of my feet are flat on the ground. I used to like cross my legs and think, oh, my feet are touching the ground, but it's not that. It's actually like planting my feet on the ground. And then I imagine there's like little vines, like roots that are growing down from my feet and moving down towards the earth. And something that I learned from someone a long time ago during a meditation, her name's KJ, and she taught this way of doing a meditation of imagining your roots going down to the earth and then like wrapping around the lava. So if I have the time, I don't always have the time to do that when I'm like grounding my feet, because it depends, am I in that confrontation with someone? Am I in the conversation with someone in that moment? I don't always have time to like close my eyes and imagine that, but if I have time, I love the addition of that. So those for me they seem really simple, and I would imagine that someone would just say, oh, here's a list, like use these things. It took me a long time to figure out what worked for me, because some things I would do, it didn't really get a result. It didn't allow me to feel in my body. And the reason I'm saying this is that once I'm in my body and I'm relaxed, I've calmed my nervous system. So if I'm in a place where I'm like pushing against my people pleaser ways, I'm being in conflict, I'm being in communication about something that I want, the initial hit that's happening is my nervous system is activated. And what I want to do is to relax myself and get myself into that parasympathetic. So by having the deep breaths, by feeling my body, by relaxing my shoulders, they're all ways that I'm basically signaling to myself that I'm safe. And once I'm safe, I can even just like, then I can feel into my body and just, okay, well, what do I feel? What do I think? What feels good? Or if I'm about to go into a sense of like, or into a moment of conflict, just that I am safe and I'm in my body. And so I'm learning to trust the feelings, even if the feeling is, I don't agree with you, or I don't like the way this feels. So I have felt that has been like a gateway for me to get into a place when I'm wanting to be in communication or conflict that allows me to get out of my head and into my body, and really coming from a place of I'm safe and I'm learning to know how do I feel, because I'm on that path. Like I am really truly working on that. Even just doing the laugh, I've just realized right then, I laughed right then to almost make light of the fact that I don't know this. So I'm going to change that. Let me try that again. I am on the path. I don't know, but I'm learning. And these exercises and these practices are helping me figure out exactly what it is that I feel, so that I can be in my body and be in a place of like safety and trust. So those are the things that have worked for me. Those are the practices that I've found that have worked for me. And when I say like subtle, as I said in the beginning, they're either subtle or quite big. They can be really subtle. I can be in a conversation with someone and I feel a sense of like anxiety or worry, or that I want to say something. I can just uncross my legs and put my feet, right now I'm actually doing that, is putting my feet flat on the ground. And maybe I can't get my arms all the way up to give them the squeeze. I can at least like drop my shoulders and take a minute while I'm listening to breathe. So find the things, like try some things out that work for you. These are the 4 that I have found that have worked for me. So maybe try them, but finding whatever it is that works for you to allow you, how do do I even say that? To allow you to feel more in your body in those moments. And if you have any other tips, like anything that you have found, I am so curious to hear if there is something that you have found in the way of like being in communication, to be able to get out of that people pleaser space and to be able to truly state what it is that you want, what you need, how you feel, and to be in conflict with someone. I am deeply in the learning with that because, as I said, I didn't learn those skills and they are so important. I'm seeing the value deeply in those. So let me know if you have any other tips. I'm game to hear them as well. So hope those help.